Okay, clogged pores. I've had it. You think I don't notice your pesky blackheads? It's all I see. Why else would I be dodging photos, yelling back up, zoom out, not so close? But now, I've got Biore Deep Cleansing Charcoal Pore Strips. With natural charcoal, they pluck out stubborn dirt, oil, and even blackheads in just one strip. So go ahead, snap away. With Biore, I have finally found the skin of my dreams.
Biore, free your pores.
We are the New York Knicks. I'm back in the New York groove. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York girls. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks is taking no shorts, just like winter. New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
All right, it's the New York Knicks podcast, episode 318. We are back. We have a stats guy today. When was the last time we had a stats guy? I'm going to stump you right off the bat.
Oh, Stats Guy already screwed up. Stats Guy, come on.
All right, you're fired.
I'm on it right now. I'm on it.
So, yeah, we had 4 games since last
Are we
week.
going to introduce Stats Guy or just call him Stats Guy?
I don't know. How does this work? It's been so long, I don't even remember.
Stats Guy, you want to tell us a little about yourself?
I can tell you about myself, but I know you called the last stats guy. You just called him stats guy, and you can just call me that.
Okay, Stats Guy. Okay, we're done. We're done hearing about you.
Stats guy the third.
Stats Guy.
Stats guy the third. Well, my real name is actually Austin, and I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, but I live out here on the East Coast now, and that's all I'm going to say.
Perfect. If we called you Trace, would that make sense? Would that be a good one? Trace?
How about Trice?
Let's go with Stats Guy. So I have a question, Jay, to start the show off with you. And Stats Guy will refer to throughout the show for interesting facts because we're not going to have facts to deal with. So here's a question to you: Can you like a player and rip on him when he's? Are you not being loyal if you rip on a player when he's playing poorly? Not to even forget the abstract. Carmelo Anthony has been having a really shitty season. I know some people will say he's having a great season or he's doing so much, but you have to admit he hasn't had the best of seasons. And going into last night's game against Portland was Knicks won, which is awesome, and Carmelo had a great game last night. But going into that game, he had shot 50% or better in 5 of 24 games, which is pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
Can you rip on Melo and then praise him when he plays well? Is there something wrong with that?
I think about 11 people are drafting up angry emails and tweets to us right now.
We got into a little fight with someone on Twitter. Not fight, a little debate with someone on Twitter. And
Just
I
call
think
it
a lot of
heated
people
discussion.
have the same thing where he said to me, he said, "Hey, if you're going to rip him now, you better not like say good things about him when he's playing well." And I feel like being a fan of a team and a player, you could rip on them when they're playing bad and praise them when they're playing good, as long as you're not. If I'm saying like, Carmelo, he's an awful human being, then it'd be weird if I praised him when he played well.
Or
But I'm
just being totally lopsided. Like, last game he was good, but I think it would be critical if we were just like, yeah, but he only had 2 assists, so he still sucks. Like, I think we're being objective and we're criticizing. I think we're criticizing when it's deserved, and we give him credit when he deserves credit.
I think we're all on Team Nick here. We all want the Knicks to play really well. We all want them to win games, and I think it's totally fair to say the Knicks are playing poorly. No one says, "Hey, I can't believe you criticized the Knicks for playing poorly." But it seems like we get criticized for saying, "Hey, Melo wasn't playing well." I feel like in his defense, his defense has been a little better this year. He's still getting rebounds. He's doing other things on the court, getting some assists. His shooting is killing us, though.
His shot's been way off.
He's shooting 40%, which is like 5% below his career average, which isn't like atrocious. It's just we want more efficient nights from him, and we got one of those nights last night.
I know a lot of people are saying, well, he came off surgery and the injury, and so he came off to a slow start. but that's because he postponed that surgery for 2 months to play in the All-Star game. So I don't want to hear that as an excuse.
And even if that's the case, I don't even. You're a little more. You're a little angrier about that than I am. But it's been a month and a half. You know what? Those games are behind us. He's got to start playing. He's got to start playing better now. Even if he got off to a slow start because of the injury, he's got to get better now. Stat guy, can you both criticize a player for playing poorly and praise him for playing well? Is that hypocritical?
It's not hypocritical. I mean, that's just like part of being a fan, isn't it? Like, you're just going to criticize a guy when he's not doing good, especially if you're not winning. You know, it doesn't, like, when he scores 17 points and gets 5 rebounds and assists and we get the win, we look at that like as a good game. But if he were to put up those like 17 points, 5 rebounds, and we lose, you know, we might. It's all about winning or losing, basically, to me at least.
Yeah, the game that the whole argument happened after, the whole debate was after the Sacramento game, and Melo was 8 for 21 tonight and got 23 points. And the argument was, well, he got 23 points, got 14 rebounds. And the other side of it was he went 8 for 21, and he got a bunch of turnovers. Anyway, I think it's fair to. We just want everyone we want the win, and we expect our guy who's our max player, who's our best player, to play well. There's nothing wrong with us expecting to play well and criticizing when he doesn't come through.
I think that it was Charles Barkley that lit a fire under Melo the game before. Did you hear what he said?
Called him not a leader, right?
And then Melo said back to him that, quote, like, you know nothing about me. And then he went out the next day and put up what he did last night.
Okay, so let's fire Derek Fisher and make Charles Barkley the coach. Because if he can get through to Carmelo, much better than Derek Fisher. So that works for me.
Or maybe
Wally Zerbiak should be the coach in this.
I think
if Charles Barkley can get 37 points on efficient shooting from Melo, sounds good to me. But screw Zerbiak, sorry.
I think the morning of every game they should just send Melo audio of this podcast.
It might not be a bad idea.
They should just take a different Hall of Famer before every game should criticize Melo for his leadership. And tonight, this morning, Will Chamberlain's going to rip on Carmelo Anthony for what he's like as a person. you suck at basketball and you weren't nailing enough chicks. Wilt signing off. Okay, so we have there were 4 games this week.
Well, we got
3 losses.
We got a couple other random things before we get into the games.
Okay, tell us.
A listener found a bootleg Knicks hoodie using our logo on Amazon. Only instead of they wrote Porzingis over Knicks.
So it was go Knicks or go Porzingis?
It says New York Porzingis, and it's our logo with New York Porzingis written over it.
Okay. So are we? Do we get free hoodies?
So thank you, Aaron, for bringing that to our attention.
Could the guy send us a free hoodie?
I don't want that.
Are you going to start selling those hoodies on the show?
No.
Is it like you're like, oh, come on. Can people just buy a hoodie?
We can't sell a shirt for $18. He's trying to sell a hoodie for $41. So he's going to pull it. I told him he needs to pull it.
Why should he pull it? If he sells them and you see them, I see people wearing them, wouldn't that like help spread the show?
How is that? They see a New York Porzingis hoodie and they're like, you know what? I bet that is the logo of a podcast. I'm going to go find that podcast.
Well, I assume that's exactly what would happen.
Well, it's gone.
Okay.
I just checked.
So if you want to steal our trademark, you have to do it better than that. We're fine with you stealing it, but you got to be a little more creative.
Yes. We sold a couple shirts this week too, so thank you guys for doing that.
Cool.
Yes.
Did you sell this? Did you sell $41 worth of shirts?
Yes. 2 Knicks shirts and a Brink shirt.
How pissed would you be if the guy selling the hoodies made tons of money off of it?
Well, it's down already. It only went up 3 days ago. So.
Let's say it was been up for like a couple weeks, and apparently it became like such a popular hoodie, and like the guy was making the guy made like $1 million selling the hoodie.
Like I'm going to the Knicks Timberwolves game next week, and there's a whole section just wearing that hoodie.
It becomes huge. What would you do about it, Jay?
I would be so goddamn angry.
Yeah, you're pissed. What would you actually do?
There's
Besides
probably-
bitching about it to me, what would you do?
I don't think there's anything I could do. I mean, it got pulled from Amazon, and the sales already happened, and I don't have enough money to hire a lawyer to sue him for whatever profits, if I could even do that.
Okay. Let's cut to the lawyer. Hi, Jay. Thank you for coming to my office. You said you had a potential case for us here at Lawyer and Porzingis.
Yeah. Some jerk off stole our logo.
We don't use that kind of language here. This is the professional legal office.
Some fine bootlegging gentleman.
Have you noticed that we attached Porzingis to the name of our law firm?
I did.
It'll get more clients.
Your clients probably improved since you did that, right?
Ever since we got it, we've got more stretch clients.
Yes, the episode I named Porzingis actually has about 600 more downloads than normal, just because we named the episode Porzingis. So.
Listen, are you stealing Porzingis' likeness? Is he going to come after you? Are you being sued?
Oh, one can only hope. I need the publicity.
Well, okay, what are you here for?
I am here to recoup damages for the sales this guy made off of my image,
What do you use your image for?
my podcast.
You have a podcast.
I do, yeah.
You have a goddamn. You're wasting my time with a goddamn. Get the hell out of my office.
This is a huge,
Get
huge
the hell out of
business.
my office.
Stats guy, how
Podcast.
much did I lose during this endeavor? I brought a stats guy with me, lawyer.
It's not looking good.
See, stats guy says
This is an
so.
embarrassment. It'll be $500 for the hour.
Well,
We round up.
I don't think I lost that much. So have a good day.
No, it's an hour. It's an hour of my time. It's $500. Please pay.
Can we round to the nearest like 15
We'll
minutes?
accept credit cards, or if you have a new mattress, you can give us.
All right.
Okay.
End
So
scene.
there were 3 games, 4 games. The Knicks, Mavericks, Utah, Sacramento, Sacktown, and Portland. We won 1 game, and I thought it was a pretty successful week, I guess.
Do you?
I don't know.
We're 1-3.
I almost, if they had load in that game against Portland, I would just be. I think I would just curse the entire episode. That's all I would do. They also have a game. They're playing Philly and Minnesota, so they should be 13-14 very soon. And if they're not 13-14, I don't know what I'll do.
Knicks fan since Melo wants to know who's better, Melo or Barkley.
Barkley.
Now or both?
Yes, now. Do you think Barkley, 55 years old, can be better than Melo?
Well, they'll probably end up with the same amount of championships in the end, so who knows?
Stats guy, who's better, Melo or Barkley? In their primes, obviously.
I mean, Barkley or Melo?
Barkley's the answer. Okay, it's Jay.
Yeah, I would rather have Barkley on my roster in his prime. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Hey,
definitely.
come on, is it that close? I mean, I love Carmelo. Charles Barkley was a freaking. He's the exact guy we would love to have in the Knicks right now.
Yeah.
He's an impact player every night.
He was the beast before DeMar Carroll.
He probably came the closest to dethroning Jordan.
Closest to what? Stopping Jordan?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. One of those many good solid moves the Sixers made.
Yeah. So they
Barkley's done. Let's just trade him for nothing.
they were probably like, Barkley made the All-Star team, so we have to trade him and tank.
Barkley's going to be pretty good, but we could just tank for the next 20 years instead. What
Stats
if
guy, can you
what if
look
they-
up the Charles Barkley trade? I'm curious to see who they got.
Yeah, that's actually a good one for the stat guy. Thank you, stat guy.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to move on to the games while he's looking that up. Okay, so start with the Dallas game. Felton was back in town, and we lost to Felton, which kind of left me not feeling pretty good to start the week.
Yeah, I don't like seeing Felton do really well against the Knicks.
This was the game Porzingis got 28 points, so Porzingis' best game of the week. To kind of balance it out.
That was him trying to impress Dirk, and I think it worked.
Yeah, he won off in the second. So the Knicks were down by a fair amount going in the going into the fourth quarter, and Porzingis got on fire and led the Knicks all the way back. And the Knicks almost won. If we had another star besides Porzingis to help him, we probably would have won the game.
This was also the last game of Calderon looking like a real point guard.
Yes,
He went on like a 2-week streak of looking really good.
Yeah. I mean, we'll talk about how to fix this team. This is the last time it was the last time Serafin played.
Well, he played against Dallas.
Yeah, it was Dallas last
Well,
time.
I mean,
played.
are you saying
Utah.
played any minutes or like because?
Oh, he played a little bit against Utah, and then
Yeah.
did he not play after that? Right.
Right. Last 2 games he has not played.
Grant is apparently. I'm not sure Grant started playing pretty well, but suddenly Fisher decided he wasn't playing. What?
Yeah, he didn't play at all.
Grant?
Yeah, he didn't play at all last game.
No, he didn't play at all last game. I don't know what's going on, but you got the trade?
Yeah, well, I have them all up. Originally, he was traded from. Well, you want to know this right here.
The Phoenix trade.
Okay, he was traded by the Phoenix Suns with a 1999 second-round pick, and Tyrone Washington was picked with that pick to the Houston Rockets for Chucky Brown.
No.
No. So the Sixer trade. Sorry, the Sixer trade to the Suns.
Sixers to the Suns was for
that's
Jeff Hornacek, Andrew Lang, and Tim Perry.
Oof.
That's the awful trade.
I mean, that's pretty bad.
That's really bad. Yeah.
Hornacek wasn't that bad, but But Hornacek didn't even do that much in Philly. That's an awful trade.
Yeah, that was like right after Hornacek decided to be washed up.
That's like
that doesn't make any sense. The Sixers are just known for making bad trades, apparently.
that was god awful.
Yeah.
The equivalent. I'm trying to think of what trade would be like an equivalent trade. You get a bona fide all-star gets traded for almost nothing. What's the most recent example of that?
An all-star getting traded away for nothing?
Yeah. I'm not being sarcastic. Stat guy, what's the last time an all-star was traded away and got and almost nothing in return?
Give me a minute on that one. I mean, that's a pretty vague question. Broad,
Okay,
rather.
Just try to look at every trade in the history of the NBA, filter it down. I feel like all-stars
I'm going to find one.
Wouldn't that be hard?
I feel like all-stars aren't traded that often to begin with.
No, it'd be Harden,
Wait.
right?
Harden, yeah. No, I guess at first I thought you meant the question's hard, but you meant Harden.
Yes.
Yeah, Harden. That's the last time, yes. But the difference in that trade, though, was Harden was a six-man at that point. He wasn't quite an all-star.
What about the Lakers getting Dwight Howard? I mean, the Lakers trading Dwight Howard.
What they get in return?
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess so, but he hasn't done that much for Houston. But yeah, that's not a bad. Because Orlando got stuff for Dwight Howard when they traded him.
Right. They got Vucevic from Philly.
Right.
So Philly's always involved in terrible trades.
Hey, we're gonna make a terrible trade. Feel like, can you throw in someone really good from your roster? Sure. You want Nerlens Noel? He's the only one we have left.
Okay, let's go to these games.
Okay, so the Dallas game, they were down by a lot. They came back. They pulled a Knicks comeback. Where they make you believe there's a shot and there's none, and they lose.
Yeah. I don't have anything else to say for that game.
I don't know that game. Like you know what annoyed me the most about that game is that I'm like, oh, we're paying Robin Lopez $12.5 million, and Pachulia gets paid like minimum wage and seemed like just as good.
Isn't Robin Lopez making way more than 12?
Oh fuck!
Isn't he making like 16?
That guy?
Wait, let me just tell you one more thing. Philly ended up flipping Hornacek a year later for Jeff Malone.
To Utah, right? Wow.
It's insane. Okay, now what did you say? I'm sorry.
That's got to be one of the worst trades in NBA history. Yeah. How much is Brooke Lopez getting? Not Brooke.
Robin.
Yeah.
Robin Lopez.
Sideshow Bob. Yeah. Okay.
So Utah game.
Oh, anything? Also, I felt it was kind of unfair that Dallas gets to have Chandler Parson off the bench. I'm like, this is just not fair.
Yeah, but they're starting Felton, so it kind of evens out.
That does even out. Knicks. You were watching that game, being like, Dirk still looks pretty good. Man, if this could really work out and Porzingis could be as good as as Dirk, we could be good for so long.
BCom wrote Dirk's quote from it.
I'm sorry. 4 years, $54 million for Robin Lopez.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay.
That's
next
a lot
game.
of money.
Yes, it is.
So that's
But at least Robin Lopez gets a couple rebounds a game.
so that's 13 and a half a year.
Or
Yeah,
a million per rebound.
Yeah, the way that Fisher's been using him is just like, how could he ever get comfortable? The way like he'll play one game for 8 minutes. I don't know. I don't get what Fisher's doing. I'm really starting to get tired of it.
Do we want to do Jay? Do we want to cut to the interview with? We found out where Fisher has a mentor that's been giving him a lot of the advice,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not Phil Jackson actually. Do you want to cut to the interview, Jay?
Yeah, sure. Hey, Fisher, thanks for joining us.
Not Fisher. It's with the actual mentor.
Fisher, hey, Fisher's mentor. Who the hell am I interviewing? Who's in the room with me right now?
I am the magic 8-ball Fisher shakes to get answers.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I didn't know you could talk.
I can say a little bit. It's quite likely.
Okay. So, how do you help him determine the rotations?
The answer could be yes.
So why is Robin Lopez playing less than 20 minutes a game?
There is a question that has been asked.
I think I'm starting to understand what's going on now.
Confucius says
That was it.
that was it. I'm kind of a broken 8-ball.
Okay. Let's read the quote from Dirk after the game.
Okay, do you have that?
Yeah, he was talking about this is a good thing about having a live chat room.
Okay.
He's probably way ahead of the curve compared to when I was 20. I was scared to death out there competing against some of my heroes that first year. He's way better than I was at 20. The comparison is probably unfair to him.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it always hurts a guy when people make so many comparisons when they come out there.
And then as soon as Dirk said that, Porzingis had his 3 worst games of the season.
Yes.
You jinxed us, Dirk.
I don't know what the deal is with Fisher. Well, I feel Fisher's just terrible. Is he just a bad coach, or is just the roster's bad, or can we just fire Fisher and get a normal coach, a guy with experience? Because we don't have a lot of experience on the roster. Get a coach with experience, get rid of the stupid triangle, and just start a real team.
Does Phil Jackson have the final say in
Yes,
if
Phil
Fisher
Jackson,
stays?
he's God. He's God, yes. He definitely
So
has the final say.
So then Fisher's not going anywhere then.
Right. He's not going anywhere. Absolutely not going anywhere. But wouldn't it be great if we had a real coach? I know there's this whole thing of like, hey, let's get an inexperienced coach because that'll be better. But doesn't experience usually make someone better at their job? So wouldn't it be better to get a coach that actually has been coaching for a while? Because I know sometimes like Steve Kerr's work out, but for the most part, guys with more experience are usually the better coaches.
I mean, Steve Kerr might be good, but I mean, look at the roster he had. I mean, geez, anybody could have won with that.
Oh, we forgot. The Dallas game was this is what I hate about the Dallas game. It was the switching game. It was with a game where the Knicks switched on every play, like Woodson was still the coach. It was where the only guy the Knicks had covering Dirk all game was a point guard. Calderon covered him most of the game. It was ridiculous. They just say, who's the shortest guy on the floor? Dirk would walk up to that guy, and the guy would start covering him.
Yeah.
It was absolutely absurd. And that's when I was like, what the hell is Derek Fisher doing? Just sit those guys and go, hey, guys, stop fight over a screen. What the hell's wrong with you? Like, how do you not get, like, violently angry when you see time and time again the shortest guy on the floor covering Dirk? The best guy, actually, you know who the best guy covering him was? Langston Galloway, which is ridiculous because Langston Galloway is the size of his knee.
Yeah, it happened on consecutive plays. Basically, every other team has figured out that we'll switch like that. And
It's the laziest. Melo doesn't fight through a single screen, which kills us. And but everyone else wasn't here last year, so I don't know if the first thing they did was, oh, I'm on the Knicks. Better watch how their former coach coached and just adopt that style from 2 years ago.
So let's go to the Utah game.
Okay, that was the Utah game.
That was the game where Fisher looked to his right and said, "Oh crap! Quinn's still on this team. Maybe I should play him."
The Utah game was an abomination. The Knicks hit one shot in the first 7 minutes of the game. They were down they were getting crushed within 5 minutes.
I know. I came home from class and they were already down by 20, and I'm like, okay, I guess I don't have to stay up late tonight.
It was as if the team. It was if the game started off the Knicks gathered around and go, "Hey, has anyone ever shot a basketball before?" And they were like, "No, let's try it for the first time tonight." It was the Knicks shot, I guess on the game, they shot about 40%, which seems incredibly high if you watch the first half.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised they shot that high.
I mean, it was unbelievable. And it wasn't like they were even shooting stupid shots. It was like they'd get a perfectly good look from like 10 feet away, miss it. Then another shot, they miss it. Then miss it. Then it was, and so then Fisher, you can't even blame him. He was playing the whole roster because he was like, screw it. No one could seem to do anything on this roster.
Somehow, Vujicic had a plus 20. I have no idea how that's even possible.
Stat guy, how is it possible Sasha played well?
How many minutes did he play? Probably that's why. I don't know.
He played 27 minutes and had a plus.
Oh my God!
And had a plus 20 in a game where we got destroyed.
Stat guy, did Cleanthony Early tell Matt Barnes about Derek Fisher sleeping with his ex-wife?
Did he tell him?
Yeah, it's my only theory why Cleanthony Early can't ever get on the court.
Yeah, he's. I don't know what his deal is.
Kyle O'Quinn looks like he's back in the rotation, which I don't mind. Serafin sucks. I don't know. I feel like there's something kind of like when Serafin plays well, Kyle Quinn has to play terribly, and then Quinn starts playing well, and Serafin starts playing poorly. There could only be one. It's like they're Highlanders.
I think it's like that with almost every position. It's like Calderon started playing good, and then Galloway and Grant decided to suck. And now Calderon's starting to suck, and Galloway's starting to get his groove back.
Grant can't get back on the court.
Yeah.
The Utah game was terrible. Is there anything to add here? I mean,
No,
the
there's
Utah
nothing
game,
else to add.
I was watching it being like, oh, I wish I was a Utah fan. That team looks fun and exciting.
Bruno Gruvin said Sasha's way better than Calderon on D, and sadly enough, that is true.
Yeah, but, Jay, it's that guy. Is Jay better than Calderon on D?
I've never seen him play, but I'm sure he could give him a run for his money.
What were you going to say about Bruno? Jay?
I read his quote already. We responded to it.
Oh, have we already done that portion of the show? Okay, you check it.
It was literally the thing you responded to was what he said.
I have two kids. I haven't been able to remember anything in like 4 years, 4.5, however old my son is. I can't remember anything since. Okay, so let's jump to the Kings game. The Knicks played the Kings. Kings are terrible. Knicks won. It was a great victory.
Well,
The Kings?
Yeah, the Knicks beat the Kings, right? I mean, you can't lose the goddamn Kings.
I was going to say, you must have been watching a different game, but it's that sarcasm again.
This was the Rondo pulling on Melo's arm, and the refs somehow don't see it, even though any other star in the entire league gets
Hey,
that
I just
call.
want to cut to some audio from the offseason.
Ridiculous.
Hey, I want to cut to some audio from the offseason. This is from about 7, whatever the offseason time. Hey, Jay, you know Rondo's still a free agent. Do you think the Knicks should go after him? Jay
No.
from the summer?
Hell no.
Well, Rondo actually might still be good. I mean, he could be a guy that can get a lot of assists and really like make a runner offense.
cancer
I
in
bet
the
we can get him for a
locker room.
1-year deal.
Locker room cancer.
Oh, okay. You don't think we can get him for a 1-year deal and like he was an all-star a little
Wouldn't
while ago?
even
and,
want him for a year.
You'd rather have Calderon over Rondo?
Yeah.
Screw you. Okay, but you know what? It probably won't work out for Sacramento. So, cut to now.
Stats guy, how many other stars in the league would have gotten a foul call going for that shot that Melo went for?
Every single one. It was so blatant. He literally had his entire hand grabbing on him.
Exactly.
I mean, I watched the replay, and it's like, how could you even miss it? He was standing right there, the ref.
Yeah, that was pretty blatant.
Stat guy, how far away is England?
Oh, come on.
Just give me an eye.
You
Give me
can
an
make
idea.
up some stats, by the
Just
way.
make up something. Make up a number. Come on.
I don't even know because I don't want to sound like an idiot.
Pick a distance, stat guy. Pick a distance.
Say it in kilometers so we have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, 648 kilometers relative to the...
That guy can't even goddamn be close. Whatever. What's closer, England or Porzingis and the next closest defender?
But it's 3,323 miles from Connecticut to England.
Okay. Porzingis was wide open under the basket. Why couldn't Melo just pass to him? I bet he could have dunked.
Yes, he was wide open. I saw that too. That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
But Fisher probably told Melo, "You're shooting this ball."
That would have been a really tough pass. He had two guys draped on him.
Wait, hang on. Forget that guy. Do you really think Fisher told Melo he's shooting the ball? It wasn't Melo telling Fisher that he's shooting the ball?
Well, either way, you know that Melo's taking that shot.
Why do they even have timeouts to draw up? Hey, Melo, dribble the ball a couple times and chuck it. That's almost every time that we had last-second shot in the last 2 years that Melo's been healthy. That's the play they draw up every time. Melo, make sure it looks atrocious and just chuck it up there. Okay, coach.
And you know what's crazy? The couple times that Melo has not taken like the shot, we've made it. Like JR made that one, and then Porzingis basically made that one against Charlotte.
Right.
Like when Melo doesn't get the ball in the last second, we usually get a decent shot off.
That's because everyone on the other team is shocked into submission.
Stat guy, would you rather have, for the last play of a game, Melo chuck it, or just about anything else happen?
Melo, no, anything else.
Okay, cool.
Fisher's
please,
playbook it has like 5 plays. It's just called chuck it, ISO, dribble down the clock, 1-on-5.
What do you think they talk about during that timeout?
What they're getting for dinner after the game.
He's just like emphasizing the other guys. Okay, Calderon, on that last play, get the hell away from Melo. Okay, Porzingis, get the hell away from Melo. I just don't even understand.
Guy with the beard. Who the hell are you?
Okay. So is there anything else you want to add from that game? I don't understand. So Grant played 3. Why isn't Grant getting any playing time? I understand. So he apparently played a couple minutes, looked terrible in those few minutes. But isn't Grant – should we be focusing on winning games right now? We're trying to actually make this team better.
Well, I think that's why Fisher benched him. He was playing terrible.
Well, it's hard to get – he was playing – he had been playing pretty well, and then his minutes just kind of disappeared.
No,
and then,
he
like,
was
you give
playing
him limited
really...
minutes, and he played poorly.
He was in a slump, and then his minutes started disappearing.
But he had a resurgence.
Yeah,
there was some point where he started shooting pretty well, and he was getting more minutes, and then Fisher just took Fisher just swept the rug out under him. I don't know. I feel like Grant's a guy that we should just kind of go all in and give him minutes and see what happens. Are we really better off having Calderon get 30 minutes a game, or just give the minutes to Grant and see how it works out?
I'm with you, but I'm just saying, I think Fisher reacts to this team, I think, like I react to my fantasy team, where if a guy has one bad game, I drop him.
Yeah.
I think Fisher's doing the same thing. I dropped Teletovic, and he's dropping like 4 threes a game. I'm so pissed off.
By the way, Jay, I set my lineup through New Year's. Are you proud of me? Yeah.
Nice.
That's that feature where you just press one button, they set your lineup for you. It makes me feel like I'm way too lazy if I don't set the lineup. I probably will not set it again in 2016, but at least I feel good about getting it through there.
Is it ESPN League?
Yahoo,
but yeah.
Okay.
Whatchamacallit. So the Knicks, they should have beat Sacramento, Sacktown. Stat guy, why do they call it Sacktown?
What, Sacramento?
Yeah, isn't Sacktown the worst name you could possibly call a place?
I don't know if it's the worst, but...
outside of Balls Village.
Yeah, I mean that's like calling your city Swamp Ass.
Testicle Villa.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Portland game, the game we won. Let's talk about the Portland game. We won, which doesn't happen often. And Melo played awesome, and so I think those coincide. If Melo plays awesome, we'll win more games.
Yeah, I mean Melo was amazing that game.
And you know what? No one's gonna say. In previous games, Melo got a bunch of rebounds, and they were like, "Well, Melo played well. He got 14 rebounds." Melo only got 6 rebounds. I don't think anyone's going to criticize his game here because he did what you need him to do. You need him to be an efficient offensive machine.
Going with the yin and yang of this team, so Melo had his best game of the season, and Porzingis had his worst game of the season.
Yeah, Porzingis looked like he was like, "Hey, I don't want to even be considered for Rookie of the Year."
He has 0 for 6, 0 points, and then O'Quinn played amazing,
Yeah.
but then Calderon also went 0 for 3 with 0 points. So it's like, I don't know. It's weird how we can't get a team with everyone firing on all cylinders at once.
Jay, you have a phone call. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hey, Jay, this is Lance Thomas. Where's my apology?
You're not getting an apology.
I'm so good. Do you see how well I play defense?
You're good like 1 out of every 3 games.
I'm shooting like 45% from the field, like 35% from three-point land.
That's great.
Plus, I'm playing solid D. I can cover multiple positions.
Okay.
Yeah. Give me my apology. I'm waiting.
No.
Yeah, right now.
Every time I give you an apology,
I'm excited to be ranked number 1 in your rankings this week.
every time I give you an apology, you suck for like 3 games.
Yeah. Well, you give me my apology.
No. Go away.
Hang up, slam. And Robin Lopez has had his best game of the season, arguably.
Yeah. He was him and what's his face on Portland. Plumlee were just going back and forth trying to like outduel each other. It was kind of interesting.
You think anything about Lopez and Porzingis playing together limits Lopez's production?
No.
I mean, not even in a negative way. Like, in a sense, like rebounds Lopez would have gotten go to Porzingis, and some of the points that would have gone to Lopez go to Porzingis.
They kind of play different games, though. It's not like they're both standing under the net. Like Porzingis is more of an outside guy.
Yeah.
I
guess Lopez is not really driving to the basket, and they don't do that much pick and roll.
Right.
Do you think anything on Fisher about Porzingis playing so like? I'm just surprised he played so poorly.
You know what? It's a bad game. Everyone has an off night.
I have to think he's playing. They're playing Philly and Minnesota. Where Porzingis should start playing. We should start seeing some good games from Porzingis in the very near future.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to comment from this game? Galloway's playing, but so how? Forgetting this game. You want to comment on the end of the game?
Oh, where we thought the Knicks were going to blow it?
Yeah, I was watching this game. I think I was telling Jay before the show. I was watching on. I was at a wedding. I was watching the game on my phone, and my phone, like right when Lillard went for the 3-point shot, got fouled. My phone like froze, and then I had to close the app and reopen the app. And by the time the app was open, the Knicks won. I was like, oh, okay, Knicks won. I guess they pulled it off. I didn't realize Lillard had almost made all Knicks fans kill themselves.
Yeah, that would have been real bad.
Yeah. But that's so what do you think the Knicks should do to improve their roster going forward? Or not change, but like what changes to the lineup should they make? Who gets playing time, who doesn't get playing time, and who do you want starting?
I don't you know what? I wouldn't mind seeing a Flalo go to the bench so you have an actual scorer in the bench unit.
Yeah, I also wouldn't mind seeing Porzingis and Melo out there, like at the 4 and the 5.
Mm-hmm.
More of that with like faster lineups, and then smaller lineups, and then put Lopez out there with the bench, so the bench has a better defensive presence out there.
Right. Yeah, and I would also say stick with 10 guys. I don't care if it's Seraphin or O'Quinn, but stick with one of those guys.
I wouldn't mind
Probably
seeing
O'Quinn.
also. I wouldn't mind seeing Calderon out there with Grant.
Maybe don't start Calderon.
I wouldn't mind seeing them together. I feel like the good thing about Grant is he's one of the guys that can actually push the ball and get to the basket, and maybe balancing him out with a point guard that's a better shooter, a little smarter, would be helpful.
Right.
The two-part point guard lineup kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Stat guy, what should they do?
I'm trying to figure that out right now. I'm looking at current NBA free agents and stuff, and for next year.
Oh, okay. I meant like right now with the team.
Yeah, I know. I'm just like
Daydreaming.
going off. Yeah, exactly. I really wish like we had that perfect opportunity to get Rondo, like you said, on a 1-year deal. I just like. Even if it like he is a cancer, like it's a 1-year deal, We're not planning on winning it at all this year, but you see what he's gotten him. I don't know.
Jay, would you take Rondo for 1 year?
No.
What about actual
Still?
cancer? Well, Jay, what about actual cancer? Would you take actual cancer for 1 year?
Rondo even said he's getting along with Cousins because they're both assholes. I feel like Rondo and Melo would.
I don't think that's a direct quote.
So wait,
Yeah,
wait,
it is.
listen,
It is a direct quote.
If
You said that.
If you knew that at this point in the season he was going to be leading the league in triple doubles, you still wouldn't have taken him for 1 year deal?
I don't think he gets along with Melo. That's just. I think him and Melo fight, and it turns out a disaster. I think for some reason he's getting along with Cousins, and it worked out. But I think that's a particular scenario that would work out. That just worked out, and I don't think him on another team would work out as well.
Here's a trade rumor for you. Noah for Lopez. Would you do it?
No, Noah looks completely washed up.
But maybe Noah's not washed up. And if Noah was not washed up, would you do it? I guess in a heartbeat.
Yeah, if Noah was awesome, yes.
I mean, is there a chance like Rondo looked washed up and now he's playing really well? Maybe change of scenery gets Noah back into whatever the.
No.
It's that guy. You do that trade? Noah for Lopez?
No.
The other thing from this week is that Melo commented that he's frustrated with the slow pace of the Knicks, and the Knicks are bottom of the league, bottom 5 in all the pace categories.
He's like, it's like every time we bring the ball up, it's just dribble, ISO. Like the pace is so slow. If only there was something that could be done about that.
If only it's weird that the guy that's complaining about it is part of the problem.
Right.
Part of it is that like our point guards are not guys who like get to the basket. They're guys. Well, that's the idea with Grant. Grant's the guy that actually gets to the basket. But like Calderon's like dribble, wait for the defense to be set, then start the offense.
Yeah.
So maybe you start. What about starting Grant and Galloway with the first unit, and then putting Calderon and Aflalo with the second unit? That way, you get a lot more speed with the first unit. Obviously, you get some better defense with the first unit, and the second unit. Maybe the second unit will play better if they have a real point guard, a smarter point guard.
Right. Yeah, maybe that would help Stupid Hair McGee.
Yeah, Stupid Hair is just like he's like, come on, you don't see me under the basket? I have the hair for a reason.
All right, you want to go to some questions?
Yeah, let's go to questions. Stat guy, should we go to questions?
Okay, wait. Let me just tell you that the Knicks are averaging 7.7 fast break points per game, which is the worst in the league. Comparing it to the Golden State Warriors, who are averaging 21 fast break points per game.
Great.
Okay, stat guy. Just to make us feel better about our comparison, how many games in a row have the Knicks won, stat guy?
How many currently?
Yes.
One.
How many games in a row have the Golden State Warriors won in a row?
There you go. Zero.
Okay. Also, since Saturday, who has a better record, the Knicks or Golden State?
So clearly what you're saying is the Knicks are on the up and coming, and we're riding that one victory all the way to the championship.
I would say Vegas is probably going for the Knicks right now, and Golden State should probably blow up their roster with stupid trades to the Knicks.
I think that sounds good to me.
Yeah, so Robin Lopez for Draymond Green. We'll take your castaways. Okay. Questions, Jay.
Twitter at NY Knicks Podcast. Jorge writes, "What's wrong with?"
Wait, stat guy. Do you think Jay should focus on questions from Tinder first, or Pornhub, or Pinterest?
Yeah, I think you should do the Pornhub questions first.
Okay,
and then
Jay.
whatever
Pornhub.
you want.
Okay, go, Jay. Pornhub questions first.
Well, the Tinder questions were just dick pics.
I hope your Pornhub questions weren't dick pics as well.
Everything's the entire internet's just dick pics.
Okay.
Just blue waffles.
Yeah. Let's see. What is wrong with Galloway's shot?
Galloway's not a good shooter. We had a small span of time where he looked like a good shooter, but he's not a good shooter. That
was our biggest criticism of him last season, and yeah, I guess he was just playing over his head for a little while. He needs to work on that shot.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like part of it is like it's everything always falls back to the mean. Generally, he's not a good shooter. He had a little short sample where he's playing well, but
He was leading the league in 3-point percentage after about 15 games.
His 3-point shooting is actually percentage is still pretty decent. Not that it he's still shooting stat guy.
Galloway's 3-point percentage.
Yes.
We'll let you get to that. Lester writes, you got it?
No. I was saying, give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lester writes, why do Melo stands cry about every call he does not get? His free throw attempts per game is up there with Harden's for his career.
Yeah, I mean, that is a solid point if you're comparing against Mr. Flop a lot versus
429.
Still a pretty good shooting
That's
percentage.
really good. That's probably still top 10 in the league.
Yeah, he was 352 last year, so he's getting better. What else can you ask?
Yeah.
I guess he's getting better, and he's going to be cold and hot. So one of the things also Melo said was about getting calls is that he's not going to flop. I forget the exact language, but it was something along the lines of he's not a guy that flops. Do you think if Melo started flopping like Harden, he'd be looking like a lot more like an all-star this year?
Probably.
Because you take you take 3 shots that he misses every game, send him to the free throw line, and minus those three shots, he'd probably look a lot better.
Yeah, his field goal percentage would probably go up about 10 to 15 points.
But if he's shooting the same number of if he's shooting the same number of free throws basically, or free throw rate as Mr. Flop a lot, do you think maybe does Melo really get fouled that much more than Harden, or that Harden pretends to get fouled?
Well, that's the thing. I think Melo gets fouled just as much as Harden, if not more. Probably more because Harden fakes most of his contact.
But Mr. Flop a lot, who gets the line a lot, he's not getting the line anymore. It gets the line about the same amount as Harden, then maybe it's pretty fair. And maybe Harden doesn't get every call either.
No, it's not fair because Harden gets calls he doesn't deserve, and Melo doesn't get calls he does deserve.
No, you're right. I don't know. I feel like I don't understand. Your distance from your basket is inverse proportion about how hard you're allowed to be hit while you're shooting.
Yeah.
If you're outside the 3-point line, if you just barely touch someone, they get to shoot 3 free throws. If you're under the basket, if you punch someone in the face, the ref may or may not call it. Why is that?
BCom writes, Melo said something like he doesn't know how to flop, and if he tried to flop, it would look wrong.
And Harden said, "I'll show you."
Yeah.
You imagine if I think Harden's post. You know how people go to the Elijah one to learn how to post up.
Yeah.
What if they go to the Harden School of Flopping in the off season?
Yeah, why not?
Here's also from the Sacramento game. I just want to I had forgotten about. So Lillard got to the line for the 3 free throws at the end of the game, but the guy you hate, Lance Thomas, jumped in the air, and Lillard jumped into him and drew the foul.
Oh yes, I posted some on Twitter about that. I
hate that foul so much.
The
Stat guy, should that be called a foul when you jump into someone guy to draw the foul?
No, they were just talking about that the other day in a game where he kicked his leg out, and they were complaining how they need to change that because
Crab did that in the Portland game. That was Crab.
That's exactly what I was talking about. He clearly in the replay you could see that he made the contact on himself by doing that.
They should call a foul on the guy doing it.
Yeah.
Not even call a non-call. Stat guy, if you were playing basketball with your friends and one guy went to block you and you jumped into him and then called a foul, would they be your friends still?
No, I'd punch him in the face.
Yeah, there would definitely be fights.
Yeah, I mean, it's the most absurd. There's some things that just, I understand there's technical rules and you're like, okay, this works, but it just makes the NBA stupid. Just get rid of things that just don't pass the sight test. No one's going to look at that and go, oh, that makes sense. He jumped into him. That's a foul.
All right, we're already in speed round mode.
Okay, go.
Why do you think it's the main reason, and why do they think it's the main reason you don't win? Oh, this is a follow-up to the Melo getting fouled thing. The Sac game, yes, he got screwed, but Melo has 1 playoff series in 5 postseasons with the Knicks. Can't be a coincidence, can it?
I kind of think that last play they wouldn't have called that for everyone. I understand what you're saying. I feel like sometimes he gets screwed in plays, and sometimes I think Melo. I don't know. I think sometimes he just complains too much, and that's probably causes the people not to call fouls.
Yeah. Gucci writes, how great was Melo last night, and what did you think when you saw the clip of Melo helping KP with some moves in that pregame? I don't know if you saw that, but he was kind of he was showing him a specific situation of what Porzingis should do, and I like that a lot. That's better than
That's fantastic.
yeah, because Melo had some great offensive moves, so showing Porzingis some tricks is that's what we want.
I mean, the reason also, just to go back to Melo playing poorly, Melo's the best, I think, in the NBA, the best bad shot shooter.
Mm-hmm.
And so he has a night where he makes tons of shots, and you're like, he plays well, but then he just goes for those bad shots too often, and just law of averages, they're not going to go in that often.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you, Jay.
Mm-hmm.
The Knicks, whether it be Porzingis or Lopez, they when they dribble the ball down the court, they pass off to Lopez or Porzingis at the top of the key. And then Porzingis or Lopez, even though he can shoot threes, never tries to shoot a three from here at this point. Just passes it off to the other guy. What is the goddamn purpose of doing this pass? Why do they give it to Lopez or Porzingis at the top of the key? Is this some magic in the triangle where you do this play and then you sacrifice the virgin, you win the game?
Yeah. Step 1, Lopez at the top of the key. Step 2, question mark. Step 3, profit.
Stat Guy, why do they do this play? You know what I'm talking about, Stat Guy?
Not really.
Every time the Knicks dribble the ball up, almost every time, Calderon, whoever gets the ball up, he'll pass to Lopez or Porzingis at the top of the key, at top of the arc, and then Lopez or Porzingis will pass the ball to someone else.
Ball movement.
Yeah.
It happens almost every time down the court. It's just like they're saying, let's burn 5 seconds from the shot clock because we're really efficient with the shot clock.
I just don't get why they don't run the pick and roll more. It just doesn't make any sense. That's one of the most plays that you need to run in a basketball game, and they just don't do it nearly enough in a game.
Yep.
Maybe is it possible that just there aren't aren't people that play basketball live right now that can be smart enough to play the triangle? So we should give up the damn triangle. We're never going to get a team smart enough to play it. So,
I mean, it wouldn't be enough. I mean, they don't really do it all the time anyway. So, I don't know. It's very frustrating, especially when I talk about it all the time. So,
they don't do it all the time, but I feel like if they ran a much more wide open pick and roll focused offense, it would just be better. Just run the same offense everyone else does.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more on the pick and roll.
If you get a more talented squad and you can take some extra, some higher level offense, that's great. But right now we're trying to just build a team.
Every time Porzingis takes a shot closer to the basket, he seems to always make it. And when you have a guy that big, he can run the pick and roll. He's the perfect player to run it with. He could get some good shots closer to the basket, and they're high percentage shots. He needs, I know he's a rookie, but he deserves a few more opportunities drawn up for him, I think.
I would say they should draw up a couple plays from every game.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Geez.
I don't know. Just they should. You know what Derek Fisher should do? Before every game, he should prepare. Okay, Jay, next question.
Okay, I'm going to ignore all Kevin Durant to Knicks questions. What do you think about the Melo Barkley beef? You think Melo leads in his own way, and how has it worked this year?
I think Charles Barkley should call him out before every game because it worked out wonderfully.
Josh,
didn't he do it last year too?
I don't think Barkley likes Melo.
Yeah.
I don't think Melo got a Christmas card this year from Barkley. I'm going to say probably not. I don't think when Melo posts something on Facebook, I don't think Charles Barkley is one of the first people to like it. Jay, do you want to? We had a debate also, Jay and I, over the week about Philly and how to fix the draft. I have a solution, Jay.
Okay, let's hear it. We got to start doing shows twice a week because this is.
Stat Guy, do you think you think there's a problem with the draft system right now?
I mean, Philly's doing some strange things.
Right. I mean, part of the problem is they're tanking. I think tanking works if you know how to draft. Then Philly doesn't.
Yeah, they're tanking without knowing how to draft. There's like an endless cycle of awfulness.
So the big concern is not that the bad teams get the best players, is that some team will purposely be bad to get the best player, right? Here's how you solve the problem. Stat guy, not Jay, but Stat guy's going to tell me if this is the answer to everyone's prayers.
Mm-hmm.
Take the team with the worst record and give them the 4th pick. The only team that gets removed from the lottery from the lottery is the team with the worst record. Everyone else is in the lottery. If you're at the worst record, you automatically get number 3, number 4, and then the other picks go in the lottery. Are you following it?
Yeah, I'm definitely following it.
If you're that means you can't tank. You can't be the worst team in the NBA. Because if you're the worst team in the NBA, you don't get to pick number 1.
I mean that makes sense, but that makes sense.
And that would eliminate the reason to tank, because you don't want to be even if you're Philly, you want to be better than Minnesota, so you don't have the worst pick in the draft, the worst record. So because then you miss out on number 1 pick. Jay, doesn't that solve this? It's not the easiest way to solve the whole thing.
Yeah, it kind of is.
I'm tapping myself on the back right now. I'm patting myself on the back.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a reason exactly why it wouldn't, but the only thing I could think of is like owners wouldn't, or whoever wouldn't allow that for whatever reason.
But you would still get a high pick. You just won't get the highest pick. And there you go.
No,
and that way you can say, hey, I wasn't we're still trying to be competitive, and you still get a good pick. It just you don't get the highest pick.
Right.
Okay, I think I solved it. So anytime anyone talks about the problems with tanking and all that, tell them my solution, and then watch them just stare at you like you're a genius.
The top of the key pass, Bruno wrote, the goal of that pass is to have at least 1 pass before they go to ISO Mello.
I thought he was going to have a real answer. I appreciate that's better than.
He also wrote, Knicks fan since Melo wrote, Barkley once said he wishes he could have played with Melo so he can get more rebounds with all his brick shots.
And still no ring.
Yeah. Alex writes, 2 starters in the Blazers game with no points in a combined 39 minutes. I think it's time for a starting 5 change.
Might be. Jay, whose brand is better? Sorry, it's actually Stat Guy. Whose brand is better? Porzingis' brand or Melo's brand?
Well, right now, Melo still, but Porzingis is getting a lot of attention.
Porzingis has been in the league for a half an hour. He just signed his 3rd deal. He just signed a deal with Body Armor Sports Drink. He has 3 marketing deals. He's been in the league for a half hour. I think, Melo, you might have to learn about how to market your brand from Porzingis.
Maybe when after Melo's done teaching Porzingis moves, Porzingis could teach Melo how to have a successful brand.
Yes,
I'm sure they'll be talking about it at their dinner that they're having.
Yes, the big Lala dinner.
Jay.
Matt writes, can Porzingis get his poop together?
That would be nice. If what happens if Porzingis just doesn't play another good game? How bad would it be?
I don't even want to entertain that question.
Oh my God.
I think if this continues, in 2 or 3 weeks, the entire show will be Jay being like, well, Mark, what do you think about this? And me being going, ah! like. But it would be real tears.
Let's move on from that. Uproar Radio writes, is it me or do Porzingis need to stop dribbling the ball? He's too tall. It gets stolen easily by guards all the time.
I think when Porzingis is near the basket, he should not dribble. They always say big men should never bring the ball down below their shoulders when they're near the basket.
He can drive though.
Yeah, but that's when. So if he's like 20 feet from the basket, he can dribble and drive to the basket. The problem happens when he's when he's in the paint and tries to dribble.
Yeah.
It never works out.
Yeah.
So yeah, if he's far from the basket, drive to the basket. Great, you're super athletic, but it never works out with a big guy trying to dribble. Like when you're right by the basket.
Do you think it would be a good thing if Porzingis put on a little bit more weight, or do you like him the way he plays now?
I think he's sexy this way. I think he should lose more weight. Obviously, we want him to put on more weight. Obviously, we'd like him to get stronger.
I mean, like Shaq size.
I think he should be a sumo wrestler size. Okay, go on to the next question.
Does Aflalo shoot too much or not enough?
Not enough.
I say just right.
I think the problem is that when Melo's on the court, he's doing he needs to be. I think what you said before. You need Aflalo on the court when Melo's not on the court, and where he can be a little more the focal part of the offense.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. Upro Radio also writes, should Knicks trade Lopez and Derek Williams as soon as they're eligible for being traded? Because them dudes suck.
Should the Knicks trade insert name of Knick player because that player sucks? No, I don't. I'm not giving up on Lopez. Lopez, I mean, his contract is insanely ridiculous, but I feel like they could use him properly. He could be a pretty solid player still.
Yeah. And he writes, after Flalo got on the team, Galloway became the new Landry Fields, the version after Melo joined the team.
Wait, what?
I think he's just saying Galloway sucks now.
Do you think that, and I think Stupidhead McGee, the Knicks, what are the Knicks going to trade him for?
Right.
What team's like, we really want that guy that's really inconsistent, as flopped failed with 3 other teams. That you guys are overpaying. Can we get him? What do you want from him?
Knicks fan since Melo says, would you want KP at the 5?
Yeah, I want to see some KP at the 5 more. Stat guy, you want to see some KP at the 5?
Yes, a little bit every game.
I would say depends on the matchup.
That's it.
Hingham McCrinkle.
Jay, you realize we don't have a system where we prepare for each matchup. We have to just do one blanket approach and go with it.
Hingham McCrinkle writes, does it seem like a lot of GMs and media personalities are now saying we knew Porzingis would be good?
Yes.
Yeah, everyone's trying to jump on that bandwagon now. They all called it. That is it for Twitter. Email, nyknickspodcast@gmail.com. We just hit the hour mark, so we're going to try and go faster. Lorenzo writes, we need to talk about the real issues affecting the podcast. Jay, what's your favorite Candy Crush bomb? Is it when you get 5 in a row and can wipe out one color?
If you even answer a question about this Candy Crush, I'm going to kill you.
Okay, we'll move on.
Move on.
Yes. Jimmy writes,
are you playing Candy Crush this episode?
No. Jimmy, I quit again. Jimmy writes, do you think Melo is trying to be too much of a team player? Knowing his strength as being a scoring machine, is he trying to facilitate too much? Are we being trolled?
Stat guy, is Melo being too selfless on the court?
Give me a break.
Do you think, same guy, do you think trading Calderon for Jennings, Rubio, or Bledsoe is reasonable to make our team better overall?
Sure. Do you want to make it a 3-way trade where Durant could get thrown in?
Yeah. I think we should also probably take a hard look at O'Quinn for Paul George.
What about stupid hair for LeBron? Yeah. That being said, all those 3 guys would be great additions to the team. I'd love to have any one of them over. So this offseason, would you sign Jennings?
I want to see how he looks when he comes back.
Okay. Jennings wouldn't be a bad addition.
Well, he tore his ACL, and it's not like he was a great shooter to begin with, so I want to see if he can do anything when he comes back.
Fair point.
Lorenzo writes, here's a recap of Melo's crunch time minutes against the Mavs. 1, offensive foul for hooking. 2, tech foul after the ref's missed call on his jump shot. 3, offensive foul for a screen, essentially killing the comeback. Maybe the league traded Melo to the Mavs as a prank.
Hey, JJ, this is Joey Nick Nuts, and this is bullshit. You cannot criticize Melo. Do not point out bad things he's done, because he's the best.
I know.
Why do you hate Melo so much? Stop pointing out.
I am not. This is.
Don't even read questions from people that hate Melo.
The
Melo is the best. He's such a great player. Do you know when he shoots the ball, an angel gets his wings? Okay, just listen to me.
Okay.
He's amazing. You see what he did against Portland? That makes up for every bad moment that ever happened on Earth. He took those free throws for our sins. Okay, I'm out of here.
All right. It's called Bizarro Trade, and this is a new type of trade where the players stay on their original team but no longer help that team. I can't wait till we see our Bizarro draft picks.
I don't even know what the rest of the question was, but go on to the next question.
This is another one for Lorenzo. Melo is like a Ferrari with a lawnmower engine in it. You pay lots for it, and it might look good and have a reputation as a good thing, but the thing runs like shit.
I don't think that was. I don't think he asked that in the form of a question. Go
No,
on.
that wasn't a question. Oh, Lorenzo again. Lorenzo's on a roll today.
I like Lorenzo's question. Lorenzo sent some good ass emails.
He does. Not sure if you heard Zach Lowe podcast that explains why Rolo doesn't like mascots. We talked about this last episode.
We didn't. We never found out why. We just talked about the fact that he mentioned it on Zach Harper's podcast. We have no idea why he doesn't like them.
Well, Lorenzo told us. Basically, when he was little, he couldn't pronounce the letter R. He went to some sort of comic convention, and there was a superhero or mascot there doing autograph photos. And the mascot goes, "Hey, kid, what's your name?" And Robin says, "Wobbin." So the superhero writes on the photo, "Dear Robin, where's the W?" And so then Brooke, his older brother, stuck the photo up on the bedroom wall for everyone to see and used it to piss Robin off. And from then on, he didn't like mascots.
Wow, that's a terrible story.
Yeah, that's pretty traumatic.
It's you like Harper should have turned to Lopez in the middle of the podcast and go, "Yeah, get the hell over it already. What the hell's wrong with you? Stop taking it out on other people."
We got a lot of emails this week. John writes, "These losses are on Fisher. It's bleeding onto Melo, and the countdown has officially started on when Melo and Fisher start having problems. Melo no longer believes in the triangle and routinely breaks it for some of the dumbest shot selections in history. I'm getting sick of his home run three-point attempts, especially the one that breaks the momentum of a comeback in the works just because he isn't leading the comeback. I'm a big Melo fan, but it's time to refer to the hot hand and be a leader in that way. Be a decoy and a facilitator, just get the win. Also, being the slowest fast break team doesn't help at all. I've seen our starting backcourt on fast breaks, and the defense catches up to them. The second unit needs to push and get the ball stoppers like Seraphin more time with the first unit instead. Maybe sub Seraphin for Porzingis in the starting lineup. If Fish needs over 105 games to get a feel of what lineups work in this league, maybe he's not cut out for this. I say we take a good look at Luke Walton and Mark Jackson and Thibodeau. Walton and Jackson would be cheaper, and they both have a lot to do with the Warriors' style of play and success."
I love that email, except for the part where he says Seraphin in the starting lineup, which made me vomit on myself.
I also don't like Mark Jackson. He was not good in Golden State. They had a very similar team with Jackson, and they weren't good.
I mean, they were decent with Jackson. Jackson, they had a pretty good record with Jackson.
Yeah, but
they hadn't make the next step. And
I know some Golden State fans that were very upset with what he was doing there, though.
They made the same criticisms we made of like Woodson. Whatever. Yeah. I'm not going to defend Mark Jackson.
He basically wanted them to be like a slow defensive team when they're obviously a fast break team.
Yes, he focused way too much on defense for a squad that was kind of like, hey, we're all super athletic and like fast. You might want to like speed this up a little bit.
Yeah.
He could be a good coach on a different squad, but just not Golden State, I guess.
Frankie writes, "So we adopted my nephew. He's been with us for a few months. I would usually make him watch what I watch, not thinking anything of it. No bubble guppies. He's got his own TV for that. But I guess you know that show.
Oh, yeah.
But today we came...
My daughter used to be Bubba Guppy.
But today we came home. I was on the phone, so I didn't turn on the TV right away. And my nephew, who was 2 years old, says to me, "Can we watch TV?" I was like, "Yeah." And then he goes, "I want to watch the Knicks." I swear I might have cried a little bit. He likes the Knicks, and he's only 2 years old. Thank you, Porzingis, and thank you, Jay. You made a Knicks fan out of my kid. That is awesome. Yes.
Awesome.
And then we got some email from a girl in Germany, and I have no idea what she's trying to ask us. I think she wants us to buy her Knicks tickets. I have no idea.
Okay, no one in the audience or us followed that. Go on.
That's it for emails.
Okay. Anything else? Any Instagram?
Yeah, no, let's do another couple bits because the show isn't long enough yet.
Mike writes from Facebook. My question is simple. WTF has happened to us? We seem he asked this question probably prior to the Portland game. We seem to really have a game plan to start the season, and now we are just the same old Knicks. ...
Well, we got 2 easy games coming up, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean we won our 11th game. Stat guy, when did we win our 11th game last season?
Read another question while I look it up.
The answer, I know actually the answer, right? It's March. We didn't win our 11th game until goddamn March last year.
Wow.
So
Is that true?
it could be.
Oh shit. Okay, now I'll look it up.
This team, whatever. We're 11-14. If we go 11-20, we're going to be kind of upset, but we should get to 13-14. And I have some hope that this team could play good against bad teams. It remains to be seen where we can really compete against good teams yet. Anthony writes, should we fire Fish now or wait till we don't make the playoffs?
Let him ride out the season.
Do you think not making the playoffs gets Fish fired?
I don't actually.
I mean, I feel like just not playing. I mean, if we win 40 games and we don't make the playoffs, I think Fish still gets to keep his job.
Yeah, definitely.
It was February 27th against the Detroit Pistons, a double OT win.
Jeez.
Are you sure? But you sure February had 27 days last year?
We were 11-46 at that point, and then we won the next game against the Raptors.
Okay, let's hopefully we win our 12th game before end of February. Here's a question, Jack.
Yep.
If Melo and Fish had a feud, like let's say by the All-Star break they are at each other's throats, even making comments to the media, who goes?
Who goes?
Yeah, like does Phil go, I gotta fire Fish, this is not working, or does Phil say, I gotta trade Melo, this is not working?
Oh, you always fire the coach first.
Right. So could someone out there in the audience kind of find Fish and go, hey, Lala looks pretty good, you should go for her. Because I feel like that would speed things up with Fish getting fired. That's all I'm saying. Not that I want him to be our home wrecker.
Knicks fan since Melo says, what if we lose to the Sixers? I say then Fish gets fired instantly.
That should be wouldn't it be great if like you lose to the Sixers and your coach just gets fired? It's like league rule.
It would only have happened once this whole season.
Michael writes, Bruno writes, do you think that Melo speaking up about not getting calls could harm us even more?
No. I think usually when somebody points that out, there's usually like a couple games where they'll get extra calls until it goes back to normal again.
Yeah. Michael writes, a full-blown rant on firing that asshole Fisher, which Francisco responds to correctly, why you call him an asshole? I don't think, Jay, we're gonna both be on the same page that Fisher's not an asshole, right? We don't know him well enough to know this.
No, he's not an asshole.
We could say, can we fire the incompetent Fisher?
Right.
That might be more stat guy. Is Fisher an asshole?
Don't know. I don't think so, but I don't think that he knows exactly what he's doing yet.
Luis writes, come crunch time, the Knicks become predictable. Yes.
Yeah. That's been happening since Melo came to town.
Evan writes, did someone not tell Fisher we don't have a draft pick this year? Based on the fact that he's playing Sasha in crunch time, I think he's already in tank mode. Which Francisco responds, Sasha had a plus-minus of +20 against Utah and +8 against Sacramento. He doesn't help you tank. Pat responds, he hit multiple shots to help close the deficit, and he didn't create. LOL. And Evan writes, right, let's go to a plain statistics instead of actually watching the games. The guy is barely an NBA player. I thought that was a solid discussion.
Yeah, good job.
I don't think we have anything to add to that. Carlo writes, why Lopez is a starter and why he shouldn't be traded. He makes too many turnovers and really is just a liability. Didn't Lopez look pretty good in Portland?
Yeah, and he's still good on defense.
What are you doing?
My equipment's falling apart.
Okay,
Yeah, you just like can't
Yeah.
hear you.
And it's back now, right?
Okay, it's back.
Yeah, no.
Should we pretend we can't hear you and have you just like mess around with it for the next hour?
Yeah, that'll be good.
He looked good in Portland. I don't think he's fallen off a cliff. I think the Knicks haven't found a way to use him correctly.
In the Mavs game, the Knicks fan says Mel Wright wrote, in the Mavs game at the half, Fisher said they don't need to change their offense or D, and they were down by 20.
I mean, it's just I also don't think Lopez has been as bad as everyone thinks he is. He is playing solid defense. Stat guy, is Lopez playing terrible defense?
No, he's been good. He's actually been good sometimes, even more than he's not getting any credit because of the time that he plays too sporadic of time.
Okay. Yeah, he's looked pretty good. He's, as Stat Guy said, he's played good at times. He looks pretty good out there. I don't know. I think the defense. I think people are giving him too much. People are hating on Lopez too much for not being a good offensive player.
Right.
I don't think he was ever a consistent player. So I think that this is who he is.
Yeah.
I think he would be better if he played consistent minutes. But this is basically who he is because that's how the Knicks are playing him.
It's like Tyson Chandler. He's good on defense, and every once in a while he'll have a good offensive game.
Yeah, I think Lopez. I think the thing with Lopez, if he was making stupid hair McGee money, people would be like, "Great, he's a lot better than like Seraphin."
Yeah.
You know, that's not who the Knicks wanted. They wanted Greg Monroe. So you know, this is what we ended up with. This is who he is.
Yeah.
We're the Knicks. We always get our fourth choice. Amari. John writes, predict the Warriors record. I have them finishing at 76-6.
There's no way they're going 76.
No way.
No way. I say 67-15.
I say 70-12.
What's the Bulls?
Isn't that the Bulls record?
No, 72-10.
72-10. Okay.
70 would be a pretty amazing number to get to. They could get to 70. I don't see them being the Bulls record though. Stat
70
guy?
would be the second best season ever.
I'm sorry. What'd you say, Mark?
What's your prediction?
Um,
We're gonna hold you to this.
You're gonna hold me to this?
Yeah. If you don't get it right, there'll be hell to pay.
Yeah.
Just pick.
Okay. So the record is 72-10. So I'll say that they end up 71-11.
All right.
Okay, we appreciate all the thought that went into that. Bruno writes, should we pack Calderon and Lopez on a trade deal to have a decent point guard or draft picks? I'm suggesting this because the Knicks have looked better with KP at the 5 and Melo at the 4.
I would love to see the package we could get for that.
Yeah. Were you trading Calderon and Lopez and Portland's giving us back Lillard? I don't really understand what everyone's always like, oh, let's just package our players that are underperforming and we'll get a great player back.
It's a poo-poo platter of players. Please give us your nearest all-star.
Okay. Steven writes, Knicks fans overreacting again. The sky is falling. The sky is falling.
Your team idolizes Drake. Next.
Rosero writes, if Melo gets traded, who will team focus on and double team then? Porzingis, of course. So the argument being that Porzingis benefits from playing with Melo as Melo benefits from playing Porzingis. Do you think that's true?
To an extent, yeah.
And doesn't Porzingis benefit from learning from Melo?
Yeah.
The good stuff? Not the here's where you kind of go to sleep on defense.
Porzingis seems smart in that he would know that. I think he's very self-aware of things, and I think he knows that people criticize Melo for defense, and he's on top of that.
He's been playing good defense, so. Rosero writes, I hate Fisher. I do. But now that I think it, I was like, fired Antony, then fired Woodson, then for Fisher. Is it really the coach of Melo the problem here?
No, we've had terrible coaches. We have had terrible coaches.
Stat guy, do we ever get? Is it that we're just complaining too much, or have we had terrible coaches?
We've had some pretty bad ones.
If these coaches were so good, how come they're not head coaching elsewhere right now?
D'Antoni was, after he left us, he became the Lakers coach, and that worked out really well.
Yeah, that worked out real well. He made it, a half a season?
And Woodson, ever since he left us, he's been the defensive coach with the Clippers, and the Clippers are so much better now.
Also, it's weird. The Clippers have Lance Stevenson, Paul Pierce, and Josh Smith, and who all play the same position, and they're starting Luke Richard Mabute.
Someone had pointed out in some comment section that why do the Knicks always have a coach with this is my plan, this is with a system, and just makes the players play a system? Why don't you ever have a coach that says, hey, we're going to adapt to the players I have. My system's going to adapt to the players. Like D'Antoni was like, we'll play no defense and jack up shots. I don't care who's on the roster. And Woodson's like, hey, I know it works well if you have a bunch of athletic guys who can all guard multiple positions, but we're going to switch anyway.
Yeah, like D'Antoni, we're going to do 7 seconds or less. It's like, you have a fat Eddie Curry and a fat Zach Randolph. What are you doing? Even I don't know what was going on around that time, but even Quentin Richardson was fat when he was on the Knicks.
And the third guy we hired had no experience in coaching.
Right.
If we got I feel like most coaches in the NBA would probably be doing a better job right now.
Yeah.
I want Tibbs, but if you don't get Tibbs, Luke Walton would be great. If you got there are a lot of people that would be better coaches. I don't know how much of a difference would it be if we got a good coach. How much difference would it be?
I think it would be a huge difference.
Like, how many more games in the year are we going to win?
7. I think that's a lot.
That's a lot. Sure.
That's
sounds
the
good.
difference between not making the playoffs and making the playoffs.
Okay.
Do you think there's any chance that Fisher gets better, or no chance at all?
Yeah, in his next job.
I think he'll get better, but better from terrible is still bad.
Lots of coaches aren't really good in their first job. Different sport, but Bill Belichick sucked when he coached the Browns, and now he's Hall of Famer, greatest coach ever when he's on the Patriots.
Right.
It helped that he had Tom Brady, but coaches get better. Just you need more experience, and it's probably not working here. Rosera writes, at this point, I don't care about the Knicks placement. I only care about Porzingis development, and we should start Grant at least to see if there is any untapped potential.
Mark's gonna keep reading like you're spelling until you use spell check.
I really enjoy doing that. That's one of my favorite ones just now. Yeah, I think the Knicks should stat guy. Should the Knicks focus on wins or development?
Development.
Here's a question from Bruno: is Fisher bad because he's forced to play the triangle, or is he genuinely bad?
Doesn't help. You have no experience. Here's an advanced system to teach.
Yeah. All right, let's keep moving.
I'm moving as slow as I can, Jay. Rosera writes, haha, Knicks fans. Hey, legs, trade Lopez and Calderon for Steph Curry, the salary match SMFH.
Great.
Rosera writes, hey, Jay, I called MSG, and they said if we can guarantee 20,000 people will show up for the next podcast meetup, to number sign, we can reserve the garden.
Sweet. Good to know.
Okay.
We forgot to talk about it. We should try and get a Knicks game meetup.
So let's 2 things working. We're going to do another Knicks meetup at a bar, and then Jay has wants to actually go to a game. Should maybe?
How about a Westchester Knicks game?
I don't want to go to Westchester.
No.
I even have family there, and I don't want to go there for the Knicks game. Because all you'll do at the Westchester game is go, oh yeah, why don't we just go to a Knicks game?
Come on, let's go see Jimmer.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's Jimmer doing? Stat guy. How's Jimmer doing?
He's had some really good games. He scored 37 points in his first game.
I know.
And then he had
how's he doing since?
He's had the last game. He had 20-something points the other day.
Oh, get him up here.
He can shoot. I mean, who would you rather have, him or Sasha? I don't know.
Yeah, but that's not really much of a question. I'd rather have just about anyone in the D League besides Sasha.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I think
He's young.
Sasha should just be the guy we like. He fills a spot until we get a guy that we actually want to play.
Like Sasha can shoot the three, but so can Jimmer, and Jimmer is like 3 times as young. You know, he's got potential for sure.
We already know Jimmer. We already know Sasha shouldn't be in the NBA. We're not sure about Jimmer being in the NBA just yet.
And Jimmer doesn't look like as big of a douche.
Yeah. Or anyone else. Maybe how's that guy? Who's the guy you love? Travis Trice?
Yeah.
How is Travis Trice
And
doing?
I'm on the page right now. I'll look at it while you guys do these questions and tell you.
Yeah, this
Okay.
might be a while. That page is a mess. It's so hard to navigate.
Jay,
It is horrible.
how about we do a Knicks meetup at a bar, and then at the bar ask the people if they want to go to the Knicks game.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
Because then you can maybe get some commitments right there because people actually show up to stuff.
We'll see if any of the other people who showed up have slept with my ex-girlfriend.
Stat guy, how many people that listen to the show have slept with Jay's ex-girlfriend?
Next.
That was so weird.
Rosera writes, how would Marks with an X feel if Porzingis got injured? I would feel really bad. Chris Porzing writes, here's what needs to happen. We need to play an up-tempo style of basketball. Enough with this triangle bullshit. That system clearly isn't working in today's style of play. Melo hasn't forgotten how to win. He's carried teams through the playoffs every year until 2014 season when the dysfunction started, all while playing in a fast-paced like style with the ball movement and three-point shooting. I don't know what Fisher's plan is, and I'm getting sick of his inconsistent rotations. What has happened to Williams and O'Quinn? No wonder Melo can't get into rhythm because the system we are running is flawed and all wrong. Start Galloway instead of Calderon, Aflalo, Melo, KP, and Lopez in an up-tempo like pace, like the Warriors, and I bet you things will change.
I don't know how up-tempo we could play with some of the slow guys on our team, though.
I was going to say, Chris Porzing, we accept your application for Knicks coach. So here's a question. Going through our list of bad coaches, would you be okay if Derek Fisher just became our defensive coach? Because the defense is looking better this year, and D'Antoni became our offensive coach.
No.
Do you think this offense?
We just complained about how we always have the point guard covering the center, and you want him as our defensive coach.
Well, forget. Just I'm not really talking about Derek Fisher. I'm just saying I don't want D'Antoni coaching defense. I'm just saying, do you think the offense would look better if they were running D'Antoni's system? That was my real question.
I don't know. Like I said, we have some slow plotting guys, and trying to do 7 seconds or less with those guys doesn't really work.
You think they'd have to play Anthony early more? We have to find out
more than 0 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, more than 0 minutes. How's it going on Travis Trice?
Well, let me just tell you that Jimmer Fredette has been dominating the last couple of games. He had 21, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. He shot 7 for 14, 2 for 6 from three-point land. He was 5 for 6 free throws. And then the game before that, he had 21 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal. He was 3 for 5 from three-point land and was 8 for 12 in 26 minutes.
Well, we can't give him a shot because we're trying to win the title this year.
He bring him up.
Yeah, give him a shot. I'm convinced. Andrew writes, is tank mode Derek Fisher's default setting?
Seems like it.
Andrew writes, how long till Melo demands a trade, and how much will that hurt his brand?
I don't think he's going to demand a trade.
Yeah. I only think the trade happens if they have a meeting in private and they both agree on it. He's not going to demand one.
He's getting his money,
and he made his choice. So I feel like he's going to feel kind of dick to bail on New York now.
Yeah.
Rosea writes, Trump 2016. Harry writes, guys, help me if you can, please. I am looking for a internet and cable deals because I have Time Warner cable, but they raise the price every 3 months to $120. I'm like, this is bull. You guys are paying the same. Jay, who lives in Queens, any advice when it comes to buying at Wi-Fi and dealing with all these cable companies unless you're paying $120 a month? Harry, here's your answer. I used to have Time Warner. Get RCN. Within 3 months of having RCN, Time Warner will call you and make you the best offer they've ever made you.
Yeah, I mean,
I did that, and I got a great deal from Time Warner for a little while.
I did DirecTV, and they don't have really an internet plan, so I kept Time Warner for internet, but I do DirecTV for cable. So if you wanted to do something like that, a referral can get you $100 off your bill.
Oh,
Yeah, DirecTV, they give you some satellite internet or something.
Yeah, don't do that. They cap you. They told me I get like 5 gigs a month.
which is a lot if you're using your cell phone, not your internet.
Yeah, exactly. I watched a couple Porzingis clips, and I look, and I'm at like 1.5 gigs on the first day. I'm like, yeah, this
was it really poor Zinglish clips?
Porzingis.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Q writes, the NBA just admit Melo was fouled during the last possession of the Kings game. Is he saying they should admit it or they have admitted already?
I think he said they admitted it. That's aggravating.
I really hate when they do that also because what's the point? The game's not changing. They're not going to replay that last play.
They're like, see, we're totally honest. It's not the refs are not corrupt.
I mean, that was a bullshit play. Harry writes, Mark and Jay, I just need Wi-Fi, guys. Please, what is the cheapest way? Harry writes, read my lips. This triangle is no good. Melo has carried teams for the last 10 years. Why the flying F is Tom Thibodeau still out there with no job? Call 1-800-TITS. Grant writes.
BCom wrote that Travis Trice is shooting 22.2% from 3, so that is no good.
Travis Trice, Jay's no longer in love. Jim, is anyone else promising on that roster? Or is it just Jimmer?
No, the Masters Antetokounmpo, I still think that he's an interesting player. He can play good defense.
How's he doing offensively?
He's scoring double-digit points and he's rebounding sometimes, but I don't know. I don't know. Why not?
I think maybe he might need more time to develop. I don't know, but Jimmer seems the most promising. He's not going to be on the Knicks much longer. He'll be on. He's on there for one more year, and I think after this year he might leave. But who cares? Grant writes, can we all pray to the basketball gods that we don't end up like the Lakers and the Sixers?
Yeah, I don't see how we could possibly end up like the Sixers. I could almost see ending up like the Lakers.
So the NBA commit. Who's the NBA commissioner now? What's his name?
Adam Silver.
Silver, yes. So Silver apparently didn't he intervene and made the Philly hire Jerry Colangelo?
Oh, I think they put pressure on them. I don't think they forced them to, but I think they strongly suggested it. Yes.
So everyone's so mad about the Sixers. Shouldn't if they're gonna be ripping on the Sixers or getting mad at the Sixers, shouldn't we also say Lakers stop playing Kobe?
Right.
The Lakers are pretty god awful.
I just like how they decided not to start Russell and Randall because they were not being efficient enough, and then just completely ignored Kobe going 3 for 15 every game.
Andrew writes, is it bad that I'm happy every time Brooklyn wins because it means the Celtics are most likely getting a worse draft pick?
That is pretty funny.
Oh, that's actually a pretty good reason to root for them.
And the Nets have been winning a lot lately, too.
Andrew writes, what did you ask Santa for in relation to the Knicks? I have a lot of draft picks. I asked for a lot of draft picks.
I asked for only
Wait,
one.
Jay.
Yeah.
I ho, ho, ho. I am Santa. Sit on my lap, Jay.
You're not wearing any pants, Santa.
That joke I was going to get to. Get on my lap. I have a hard on.
All right, let's keep going.
This is good, actually. So Francisco, this is pretty good. So Francisco goes, Harry's answer, and then he posts. I need to get the link to a Facebook question from. Let me pull up the link.
June.
This was so from June 23rd. I wrote question of the day. What is your prediction for the first 4 picks in the draft? And Harry wrote, Porzingis is effing trash. Watch, will hold Jay to this. I screenshot it. He is trash.
Eat that, Harry.
That was pretty good. And actually, Harry writes, "LOL. I was like wife in an abusive relationship. How would I think it would? He would be. He would have kept his word of not hitting me this time. Suffered my whole life, and then this glimmer of hope arises. It's a good defense." George writes, "How would you feel if if he got Hubie Brown as coach? I think he's better. He's better sweet. He did bring out the best in Bernard King. What are your thoughts?"
Isn't he like 90?
Stack, how old is Hubie Brown?
Go.
Go. Hugh writes, "Is Early?" You can let us know when you have find it. Is Early on the team, or is he's D League for life?
He's 82.
Yeah. So George, that's your answer. Is Early still on the team? Yes, but he gets into the D League. I don't know why they don't give him any chance.
Yeah,
Hugh writes,
he's not suiting up. We only allowed to suit up 13 guys, and apparently he's our 14th guy.
apparently Sasha still gets to suit up.
Yeah.
Q writes, can you guys do a Okafor the Street Thug with money skit?
What? Oh yeah, when he was running around saying he has money and punching people.
Hey, aren't you that guy Okafor on the Sixers?
I got money, bitch.
Your team is ill-constructed, and they're not drafting that well. Why do you guys always tank?
You are very well spoken for a heckler, but I got money, bitch.
Me.
There you go. End scene.
Kristaps Porzingis writes, Melo 36 points. Give him his credit now. You Knicks podcast is always getting shit wrong. Mostly Jay, that fat scratching his ass all day person needs to get on Kanye West workout plan.
Speaking of getting everything wrong, he had 37 points, not 36.
I think we gave him credit, and I don't think him getting 37 points one game writes the entire season. But we want more of that from Melo. I think we're all on board with Melo playing well. We're all going to be really excited. If Melo can do this every night, we'll be really excited. If he plays efficiently every night, we'd be really excited. Kristaps Porzingis writes, why do stupid Knicks fan honestly think Krista?
Great.
Okay, Kristaps Porzingis writes, why do stupid Knicks fans honestly think Kristaps will be top 5 player in the NBA in the next 5 years? Are you effing stupid?
You know what?
Why is your screen name Kristaps Porzingis if you're not a fan of him?
We have Harry, William, Rosero, and now Kristaps. You made a fourth name. This is
Kristaps
clearly
Porzingis
the
writes,
same guy.
Mark, your guy's intro is so whack and uncool. Can you at least steal the Kristaps Porzingis rap song for F's sakes? I mean, why does the introduction to your podcast have the Wizards? Explain, you bacon and cheese with extra butter eating fat, a Blomosaur.
We explained like 2 episodes ago, you jerk.
Kristaps Porzingis writes, why does Jason just has that face you want to punch and bully? The North will rise, you know nothing, Jon Snow. George writes, recently Coach Fisher was complaining about the busy schedule, that they don't get time to practice, and it hurts them in games. As we can see, do you really think that this is a main problem for the struggles?
It's almost like he should have experimented with different lineups in preseason.
Yeah. You think Fisher's just complaining that he doesn't have time to practice coaching?
I think it's really unfortunate that the Knicks have this odd situation that no other team in the league has to deal with.
It's weird. Most teams have like a week or two between games.
Yeah.
Frank writes, so I missed last night's game against Portland, but of course I looked at the box score when I got up this morning. With that said, who was coaching the team last night? KQ O'Quinn played 19 minutes and was the focal point of the offense with Robin Lopez. Do you think that Phil actually put together that game plan last night? There was no freaking way Fisher made those changes in his own.
That would be funny if he just calls him. He's like, you know what? You're stupid. Play cock.
It'd be great if that's how the phone call started. I think O'Quinn played pretty decently against Utah, so that's how I got him back in the rotation. And Seraphin's been looking like crap lately. So
Knicks fan since Melo writes, will KP get outplayed by Okafor?
That would be interesting. I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I'm going to say no, too.
I'm going to say that between Lopez and KP, they do a decent job on Okafor.
Yeah.
George writes, Porzingis versus Dirk. What did you think of Porzingis' performance?
It was great. I mean, that was his last good game this week, but Yeah.
I
he
think
did
Q put
great.
it this way. Q responded with a good answer. Dirk won the game. Porzingis won the battle.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't know if that's actually true, but Ralph writes, did Robin Lopez actually finish the fourth quarter? Shockingly. Greg writes, why can't we trade Melo, or do we have to? Is it because there aren't any takers?
He has a no trade clause. I don't think we want to. And I don't think he wants to. So I don't think anybody in the Knicks organization wants that.
Yeah. And I think Dolan in particular does not want that. Greg writes, do Milwaukee have to thank Jay's Celtics for defeating the Warriors last night?
Oh yeah, because they brought him to double overtime.
Greg writes, you guys cool with Porzingis moniker?
If he starts playing really well, I think I would be okay with it. It seems weird to do it now when he's putting up like 0-point games.
Greg writes, next 5 game predictions. Stat Guy, what's our schedule? Next 5 games.
He's doing paperwork.
Stat Guy, what are you doing, Stat Guy?
I'm reading. I'm on hoopsrumors.com. Hold on, I got it right here. Timberwolves, Sixers, Bulls, Magic, Cavs.
Okay, I'm going to go first. I'm going to say we beat the Timberwolves, we beat the Sixers, we lose to the Bulls, beat the Magic, and lose to the Cavs. 3-2.
I
Okay.
say 3-2, but I say we beat the Bulls and lose to the Magic.
Okay, Stat Guy, how's your homework going?
It's going.
Okay, John writes, so Melo has KP wide open under the basket in Sacramento, but instead chooses to go for the home run, double contested, 27-foot dramatic game winner. Instead, I'm shocked. SMH. Maybe in fairness, Melo being fouled threw him off a little bit, and that's why he didn't notice Porzingis.
I also think Porzingis wasn't wide open until the shot got released.
I also think Melo was never going to pass the ball.
Well, that's true too. Yeah.
What rumors are you looking up, Stat Guy? The show's almost over.
I clicked off of it. They were just talking about how they said that Porzingis has likely hit a rookie wall because he went scoreless. Just a bunch of nonsense. I mean,
Basically,
maybe
the
he
sky
has,
is falling
but-
because he had a bad game.
Exactly. I mean, he was also in foul trouble, and then O'Quinn was playing so well, you're not gonna. Fisher did the right thing by keep playing him.
Yeah, no, I mean you can't put a guy back in the game just because you want to make sure his averages are well. I mean, if he played 19 minutes, he didn't play very well. O'Quinn was playing well, makes sense. What did we learn today, guys?
We learned that what did we learn?
We learned that when you make comments on Facebook on June 23rd about Jay being stupid for predicting Porzingis being really good, Jay calls you out a few months later.
Oh, we learned that there's now a fourth identity for Harry William Rosero.
We learned that that if the Knicks win one game that week, we won't be as negative. Were we super negative this show? I guess we were kind of negative.
Stats Guy, were we super negative this episode?
Against Fisher, yeah.
Okay, I could live with that.
But yeah, I can live with that too.
Stack Guy, what did you learn today on today's show?
That I think that Fisher needs to step his game up, I guess.
Okay, there you have it, Fisher. Your move.
Yeah, man.
Okay, I think that's all we have for today.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back next week. Leave an iTunes review. Twitter's at NYNix Podcast. NYNixPodcast@gmail.com is the email. If you want to leave us a voicemail, 631-676-1181. NYNix Podcast on Vine and Instagram is the New York Knicks Podcast.
Well, I'm going to say also, I think we found our best Stat Guy. Thank you, Stat Guy.
Thank you, guys.
It's been a pleasure, Stat Guy.
We'll now get 3 or 4 emails saying they hated you more than anything possible, but we liked you.
Yeah.
it'll probably be the same guy 4 times.
Probably.
Yeah, it's the 4 personality guy who doesn't use spell check.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back next week.
My love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye. You better go away. I'm gonna leave you. It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone. Feels so good to say goodbye. I'm sick and tired and I'm saying goodbye. Goodbye, girl. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Everybody.
Yo, everybody get up! Everybody get up! Everybody needs to understand that I'm more than simply a hype man for this rap group, just like Geico is more than just a company that can save you money. Geico also has fast and friendly claim service, so they can help you when you need it most. And while I do love being a hype man, I also love reading for children's audiobooks. Like Little Bo Peep, she lost the sheep, and she don't know where to find them. Yo!
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.